Welcome back to week 2 of school. I'm so proud of you and how well you guys are adapting to the distance learning. And honestly, I feel like we've had no real hiccups. I feel like you guys are buying into this process. So great job. You're definitely making my life a lot easier. And I know that on Mondays it feels a little bit overwhelming. It seems like it's a lot at once, but remember, nothing is due until Saturday, and the check-ins, I'm given a little bit of wiggle room on them, so if you are doing them, that's what I'm really looking for. I just want to make sure that I have a chance to check in with you and then exit out for the week, and then we begin again. So here we are, week 2. This Wednesday office hours is from 12 to 12:30, and it's going to be more of a book chat, so it's going to be you having the chance to ask me questions, clarify anything that's happening in the novel, because you do have reading questions this week. So if you have questions, you got to let me know, or else I can't help you, because I don't know you need help. So this Wednesday, 12 to 12:30, please check in with me if you need it. It is optional. Okay, dystopian lecture next. Here we go. So dystopian literature, I'd like to get this kind of genre down. Ray Bradbury, I think, does a great job of kind of tricking his readers into believing that this society is utopian at first. And when you think utopia, think of it like the idyllic world, when in reality, this setting is anything but utopian. It's dystopian, and dystopian is the absolute opposite of utopian. If you are living in a dystopia, you are living in an imagined state or society in which there is great suffering or injustice, typically one that is totalitarian or post-apocalyptic. So we will get a little bit more into the setting later, but we are in some type of future America that, whether it's post-apocalyptic or not, it's not in our current times. Something has happened to change the way the world works. The Hunger Games GIF is down there because that's exactly the way their setting is drawn up. Something has happened to the world to make it completely displaced and a place of suffering where the people are pushing back against some type of greater power. Another theme that Ray Bradbury is dealing with is censorship, and we're going to see it a ton in this novel. And if you don't know, censorship is the suppression or prohibition of any parts of books, films, or news that are considered obscene, publicly unacceptable, or a threat to security. So you have right here this photo, this image. There is a greater power, whether it be the government or someone else, that is not allowing you as a person the freedom to read, write, see things, be a part of groups. In all, has taken something away from you, has censored you from seeing the reality of things. Where we've seen this in our past novel, in Night, Adolf Hitler did this for the entire country of Germany, if not the world. He censored the nation from seeing what was really going on. So censorship also has a lot to do with the burning of books. That's what this whole novel revolves around. When you take away a person's right to read, you are taking their right away to find and decide on their own truth. The second thing Ray Bradbury is doing is he's pushing back against the intellectually oppressive political climate of the time. So we're in the 1950s. There's more than just the 1950s, but there is an important aspect of governments especially dictating what the people can think, say, do. And I think Ray Bradbury was trying to bring this to light, ironically, by putting this novel in a setting that seems to be utopian, but in reality is absolutely not. The people have kind of laid down and accepted the government's role, and they don't want to opt into their right to freedom. And the third thing he's doing is he's serving a warning for future censorship, but also for the effects of television and mass media on the reading of literature. So we will be doing a final that has to do with the word warning. So Ray Bradbury is really wanting to let these people know, and us know, his readers, we need to be careful about the things we buy into. There's one thing to think that you're free, think that your thoughts are your own, but in reality, who is pushing you to make the decisions that you're making? Who is influencing you to do things? And why do you choose to do the things you do? Are you actually free? Are you actually of your own mind? So the setting, like I said, is an unspecified future American location. Wherever you want it to be my guest and let it be there. That clearly the reading of books has been abandoned, so people are not reading. Actually, they're not allowed to read. So there's no more novels, and that's why we started the unit with what books would you save? Because if this were to come around and you loved a book, but you are not allowed to have it anymore, what would be those ones that you chose to save? If someone is caught reading them, they are sent to a mental hospital or sentenced to immediate death. So not only are you saving those books, but how far would you go to protect them? How important are these novels to you, and how important should they be to the masses? The last thing, people are not interested in politics or world issues. So if the people aren't going to invest themselves in politics, that means that the people who are running their lives, the laws, are not people that they have voted in. So think about that when it comes to, do these people have minds of their own? So the only entertainment that we're really going to see is introduced, and we should have read, what we call seashells. And this quote is from page 12. And in her ears, the little seashells, the thimble radios tamped tight in an electronic ocean of sound, of music and talk and music and talk coming in. So these are in-ear devices, literally AirPods, the things that you guys can't seem to take out of your ears, that constant need to drown out thought. Though I totally understand and I agree that sometimes music helps us think, but these seashells are actually hampering these people from thinking rationally. They aren't able to go back and recall a memory. They aren't able to interact with the world, create relationships. So I just see this huge parallel between seashells and AirPods. So I wanted to just throw that in there for you. Okay, next is the idea of interactive form of television. So you're gonna see Montag's wife is in this room, and think wall to ceiling, floor to ceiling television that you can interact with. And the parallel that I draw from that is virtual reality, right? These things that we want to be involved in experiences that we really aren't actually involved in. And I think Ray Bradbury takes it to the next level with this wall to ceiling TV, that the TV can talk back to you. These characters that are in your favorite show, you can be a part of it. But the thing is, you're not actually a part of it. These characters aren't real. They don't know you. They're just on some kind of loop. And so to make sure that our characters don't get swallowed into falsity and instead interact with real reality, like interacting with each other, talking with one another, not talking to your floor to ceiling TV in a room. So what is their point of life? I think this is going to be a greater question for you guys to explore, but their point of life is, it seems dismal to me at this point. What are they really living for? Who do they interact with? Do they really carry relationships? In the first few pages, we see Montag interacting with Clarice, and he's just shocked at how much wonder she has, how many questions she asks. And it seems like at this point, he doesn't interact with his life. He's empty. By no means does that mean he will always be that way, but how can we see what motivates these people to continue living, or even better, to begin to thrive, to be a real part of their own lives? This is from the novel. It says, "Stuff your eyes with wonder," he said. "Live as if you drop dead in 10 seconds. See the world. It's more fantastic than any dream made or paid for in factories." So this foreshadowing that we're going to see later on is literally him pushing back against the climate of the time in our novel. To really live, to thrive, to interact, to step away from things that are fabricated and created for us, and to just go back to the simpler things. Guy Montag, he is our main character. I don't want to give too much away about him at this point, but he does say it was a pleasure to burn. And think about this character as someone who's at the beginning of his story, literally and figuratively. He's a 30-year-old guy. He's a fireman, but clearly the idea of firefighting has changed. They're not there to put out fires. They're not there to put out a house fire. They are there to literally create a fire, to burn books and to burn the homes with them and to burn the people inside of them. And this quote here, "It was a pleasure to burn," at this point shows his character development. So I want you to keep a relatively close eye on him. You really have no choice because he's going to be our main character that we're following. But also think about his name, Guy. It's not personal. It's not unique. Guy Montag. I find it interesting that Ray Bradbury chose to name him this because he's just a guy in this weird dystopian world. So keep that in mind as well. The last word I want to throw out for you is the word hope and the connotative kind of emotion. I feel right now, maybe some of you, maybe none of you, but for me, definitely the word hope is important to keep in mind because we're shut up by ourselves. And this book actually comes at a perfect time where these characters don't mind that they're alone, that they feel fulfilled, that they don't even realize that they don't have the emotional connections that you really need to thrive. And in this time, I feel much less like them, where I miss school and I miss seeing your guys' faces and I miss interacting and having these relationships. But I think that this distance learning is an opportunity for us to not only grow as people, as students, as teachers, but as a community. And I am just so hopeful that not only of course, we're going to get through this kind of pandemic we're going through, but I just also hope that better weeks are coming, even for our educational world and for your educational experience. Again, the novel is great. I really, really, really hope that you enjoy it. I hope that you're reading it. It has a lot of messages that are pertinent for this time. So thanks for listening. Again, I'm so proud of you guys, and talk soon.
Week two, week two, week two, week two. Kicking butt, kicking butt. Ice Cube, Ice Cube.
See ya.